Okay, right. This is actually my fourth outing on this fox. Emily joined me on one of them where we had a terrible forecast of rain. I didn't believe the forecast because you never can, and sometimes if you have a torrential rain and then it clears up, it can actually be the best for deer and for foxes coming out. And we sat it out. We actually sat in a vehicle, and I've never been so bloody wet sat in a vehicle. Quite an important fox, this one. It's causing a bit of trouble with my mate's chickens. It's also, you know, one of our few pheasant drives that we've got. Even though we haven't put the birds out, we're still trying to attract some of the wild stuff into the cover strips. And like I said, this is one of our best pheasant drives. Yeah, it's been a bit of a sod, really. I've baited, he's took bait, and then all of a sudden just turned off. So I think he's coming in from a bit of a distance. He's raided my mate's chickens sometimes, and then it's gone quiet instead of it being regular. I've actually sat down there, had no luck. He literally lives the other side of the wood, which is going to be down on our right. But we're actually now at the field where I intend to sit out tonight for this this fox. Now, like I said, me and Emily sat out, got soaking wet. I then come back 2 days later, opposite of evenings then. So I went from one rubbish night to then a still and full moon night. Not the greatest, but I've shot plenty of foxes in those conditions, and you won't shoot them sat at home. So I sat it out, and I did see the fox in it. But the trouble is, in this field, we're actually on it now. This is a right away before we go into the field. And what the fox was tending to do is hold right up on this top edge. And that's what it done when I sat there that night, which is hell of a stretch across. And also, it was no backstop. So I put a bit more effort into it, a bit of baiting. I will also show you how I've driven my truck up and down from the hedgerow down to these telegraph poles. Again, they're good visual places for a fox to visit. That's what I've baited next to. And just to that, I've got to overthink this hunting sometimes, but it's me. I put every effort into it, and I kept driving backwards and forwards from the hedge down to the lamppost, like I said, because I'm sure the fox would always take that course, and it's worked. So we've had the bait go the last 2 nights. We're going to tuck ourselves up right up in the fire edge. Cloudy, quite rough and windy, perfect foxing weather, if I'm honest. We can sit and have a little whisper to each other now because it's not so still. Put up, plenty of clothing. It's not freezing cold yet. Should have a few deer to look at. Not many hares in this bit, but quite looking forward to the evening. As long as I get the result, because I don't mind putting this much effort into a fox, but I do fancy actually getting this bugger now. What was a shame, we'll talk about the equipment I'm going to be using, and it made it a shame that we didn't get it in that wet weather, but I'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, if you see how obviously these gates here, this is worth a mention. The other night I come out here again after that Friday, it was blowing like hell. Now you see how those gates are. So you bring one forward, it's as muddy as hell where I've been going backwards and forwards. I'd get one closed, I'd run like buggery down there, grab that one. By the time, I reckon I was here 5 or 6 minutes. I was going, if somebody would be here with a camera, is that Ubin frame still going? 300 quid. Okay, right. So, as Emily just filmed there, you could see the tram lines that I'd put in with my tyres. So I've drawn down to that telegraph. I'm going to turn this off. My sensors feel they must be in every video. So I drew it down to that one, and I then brought the bait station up. Now, I don't want to get out tonight. You can see again my flint pile. I had a hen pheasant there, an old one that I breasted out. Put her there. Cat food underneath the flints. I don't need a trail camera when I do this. All right, it could be a badger, but I know it's not. And there's my sign. Like I said, I don't want to get out tonight. the fox is going to come. I don't need to put nothing there for him to, I'll stop him. We've got perfect wind coming. We're going to sit right up underneath that hedge, so we've got a good background. We're not going to be stuck out like saw whatever they are at a wedding, and hopefully we'll get our fox tonight. Okay, so we've just discussed the kit I'm going to be using tonight. I've got my 243, my foxing rifle. As always, I've always shot spotted thermal, shot digital. Infiray UK has sent me this equipment to try and use. So I'm using, and I'm going to just check, it's the TL35 Tube, and as a spotter it's the FH35R. Now, I was always a bit, I don't know, just a bit slow on taking up on thermal to shoot with, but looking through this, the clarity, I can't, it's another level to what I've looked at in the past. I've already had 3 foxes with it. The spotter, there's no ifs or buts about it, and that's probably the whole of this area we're going to look. I can clearly identify the tail wisping out the back of the fox. Obviously it always just used to be about really a blob and the behaviour of the blob. Obviously that was a budget and an older thermal, so I can't slag it off. I've done very well, but this is so sharp. We've obviously taken a bit of footage with it for you to look at, and then going over onto the scope, it just seems to take it that next level. And like I said, I've been absolutely confident in the body identification, and it's gone fine. Now, I'm not a techno whiz, my age and all the rest of it. The younger lads, they love to read all the instructions. I don't. But when I got this, I cut this bit of board just to show you. It's quite simple. Look, I always cut a bit of tape, stick an old fencing stake in. I put this out at 30 yards. Look, I hit it literally right there in the corner. I then adjusted it, adjusted it, got it up to there. So I then stuck it right out at about 150 yards, fired, I hit a bit high, adjusted it, smack straight in there. That's good enough for me. 4 shots. Even to someone like myself who, like I said, was missing my young mate who used to come out with me, because I'd have got him to read all the instructions and tell me how to do it. Okay, so what was the biggest pity the other night when me and Emily did sit out in that awful weather? If we had been shooting with digital, we wouldn't have stood a chance. We'd have put the IR on it, we'd have whited out, we wouldn't have seen a bloody thing. And that's, I was just, even though the conditions were awful, I was hoping and praying, because we didn't let the equipment get wet. I kept putting a towel over the top of it. I was sat in the truck anyway. But if a fox had come, because there was some deer out there, surprisingly enough, and I could clearly see them and I could have shot them. So it was a pity that we couldn't show it off in poor weather. Tonight we've got wind, we've got cloud. We're out nice and early so we can talk like this. We should see some deer, and like I said, this is my 4th outing on this fox. I don't mind, that's what I do. I've shot all the easy ones, they're all led in the hedges now and gone back and joined Mother Nature. This one is being particularly a little bit of a pain in the arse, so I do want to get him shot, and I'm in a good place then. I'm quite happy for us to have a fox or 2. It's only because he's causing a bit of bother that he's on the hit list, because this time of year, you know, the birds have got smarter and everything else, but he's bothering my mate's chickens. We feel he's stopping the stuff coming into the cover strip because we're not seeing that many. He's got the blame, he's got to go. Okay, so you can see how I position myself. If he did come that way, like I said, I am a left hooker these days because of my eye damage, but so this gives me option. I can shoot nice and comfortably all the way out to my right, or down there if I have to. This is what I fancy I'm going to be tonight. I think he's going to come off that hedge, down across, into that bottom. 160, 170. It's pretty windy, so it'll be nice to video him coming in for you chaps to watch, and girls, and then hopefully I'll stop him up, or he'll stop naturally, and the good old 243 should do the business. Little 58 vermint rounds I use, the Winchesters, nice and fast, nice and flat, almost takes it down to a favoured calibre I used to like was the 250, so pretty similar performance. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, I'll just talk about a couple of features. Obviously you've got record, which is you know, great for what we're doing obviously tonight as well, but also myself, you know, it's nice to watch back on something. Actually, one of the foxes I did take at a very long range, and it did do a dart and dropped, and if it hadn't have been for me looking back through this, you know, I did wonder if I actually connected, because I didn't hear the bullet strike, and just watching it back I could clearly see the impact. It was a short 15-yard death run, and went back, and there was a fox, you know. So it was a case of me sort of going home that night not believe it, because I didn't hear the strike, but it does happen sometimes. So there it was, that was a feature, so easy to use. Again, once you zeroed it, the zoom's on the top, just oh god, it's just so simple, and that's what I like, is simple, because if it's especially in the dark, you don't want hard controls to use, you know. So just changing the light, I get it set up now for how I want it. Like I said, straightforward, press on the back, nice and long for record, just one press for taking a picture, and you've got the zoom on the top, but you've also got that added extra box on the top which gives you always magnification. So up to now I haven't played with it, I've just left it as it is, and it's worked lovely. So yeah, really pleased with it. There's a heat source in that hedge. I don't think it's our mate, but I see a deer out in the other field, which is where they've been coming from. There's a covey of partridge. Well, I suppose I really should be recording some of this. Yeah, a covey of partridges. That's easily over 300 yards away. You can see them against the hedge. There's a little heat source there, I'm not sure what that is. Deer in the other field. That's cows. Way up, what we got down the bottom? That's a bloody deer. Coming across into the cover, running.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah. That was the one thing I did notice when I was watching the fox. One of the ones that I shot, I could actually watch him hunting, and I could actually see the little birds, you know, skylarks or pivot, so God knows what they were, flicking up in front of him. I could not believe it. You know, it was that's how the clarity is on this. I could actually see small birds taking off in front of this fox at probably 200 yards. It was incredible. And what was funny as well, well, it surprised me, because like I said, we haven't put no birds down this year. And I was sat in a rape stubble, and he actually put up 3 pheasants that were jugging in the dark. Obviously, instead of going up to roost, there's a lovely little roosting wood right next to them, and yet they were jugging on the ground. A gamekeeper once told me, all a pheasant wants to do from the minute it's born is die, and I think there's something in that. Absolute idiots. And then you know it is a bloody deer. pitch black, and if it was a really local fox, you could expect it to be coming out any minute. But I sat here, like I said last week, it was a full moon, wasn't as good a conditions, mind you, this is bloody windy. I won't want too long a shot, but that fox didn't show until 6:30, and like I said, it stayed right up against that hedge, and wasn't even interested in the call. Once I seen it wasn't going to come down, I tried to call and it just disappeared. So, you know, there is a good chance we got another hour and a half yet to wait. But there you go, that's what we do. We've got a few deer out there now to watch, and a few hares to get Emily going every 5 minutes, telling me there's a fox coming, but I'll come back to you in a bit. Yep, it's now come. Okay, we spotted this fox down coming out of the wood. It's now come right up to the top corner again, like it did the other night. Now it's bloody sat down. There's going to be nothing quick about this one, I don't think. Okay, it's on the move again. It's on the move again. I'm not sure what it's doing. It's like it's worming. God knows, with the wet weather, where the bloody worms are up and about. It's hunting like hell. I'm going to go over onto the scope because I'm sure it's a fox, but I need to see his tail. And the ones I've seen before, you just get a real thin, wispy line. It obviously doesn't pick the brush up. I'm pretty sure I just spotted the tail, but I'm going to need to go over onto the rifle now, I think. I'll start watching it come down. Yeah, it's coming down. This is like it's bloody worming. I can't believe it. That's still a hell of a way out. A lot further than what I want to shoot tonight in this wind. It's starting to go away. Wait! Got it. I'll tell you what, that's out there too, mate. Well, film with scope. I'm sorry, Paul, you're not getting any of this kit back. It's brilliant. We've had to wait about 7 minutes for that fox to work down. It was worming. I don't know what it was doing. I knew it was a fox, but for the sake of you viewers, I needed to see the tail. Absolute body identification. I don't know how far that is. That's a hell of a way out. Probably 260, 270, and that absolutely went down. Like I said, I'm over the moon really, because we sat here in the pissing rain. I come back twice. I've tried to call it, it wouldn't call. It hasn't even come to my bait tonight really. It's buggered about out there. It looks like, you know, that's what was, I mean, I thought, what's it doing? You know, is there worms around this time of year? I don't know. I'm bloody hunter, I should do, but with this wet weather, but that's what it just seemed to be doing. It was hunting so slowly, then it'd sit down. Well, I'm not walking all the way over there. We're going to drive over there, Ems. Yeah? Let's go and get a fox, eh? Oh, let's get my phone out. Oh.
A hell old way though, isn't it?
It's an inch or two. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah? Didn't feel a thing, did it? Absolutely banging. That's a beautiful fox, isn't it? Hey? What was he eating?
You got anything in your mouth?
Look at that. Well, Infiray, That's never a vixen.
Is it?
Yeah. Look at the size of her. God knows, what's that in her mouth? Oh, can you hold the spotter? Another old girl, look, with busted teeth and yeah, pheasant breast feather, the straw. Yeah, look at that. Well, you eluded me. 4 nights it's took me to get you. That is, I can't believe that's a bloody vixen. Got to look again, because that is a romper. Well, not only do I film for shooting in country TV, and it'd be good if you all could subscribe to it, by the way, because it does help them. I also write for the Sporting Shooter, and I think this one's probably worth a story, seeing as we sat out in the pouring rain for it. Like I said, it's been doing my mate's chickens, stopping our birds coming into the cover. I'm over the moon. I might just take that brush off for somebody as well. It was a banging night. We took it for granted, really. All right, we've mucked about doing a bit of filming, say 15 minutes, but that fox first come into play at 6:30, and I reckon we killed that at about 10 past, 7:15. It showed at 6:30 the other night when I was here. Again, I didn't even bring a call this time because I would have been tempted to use it then, and it just turned and ran the other way. It didn't come to my bait. There was times when it didn't act like a fox. It kept head down like it was a muntjac or something. I needed to see that tail before I could take the shot. I just need absolute body identification. Everything was telling me it was. I took it a lot further than I wanted to because of the wind tonight, but it was not going to get any closer, and yeah, the rest is history, really. Banging great big vixen. We've had a fantastic night. I hope you enjoyed the video. Much better than last time we come out, and haven't been on for a while, so speak to you all soon.